Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to Advanced Warfare in Depth. In today's episode, I'm going to be reviewing the SAC single variants and the royalty variant. So this is going to be like a couple of in-depth episodes all rolled into one. The gameplay that you're seeing right here is not mine. It's from JX23. He's a really old school YouTuber. Been working with him from ages, British fellow. And I'd appreciate it if you went to his channel, checked it out, at least tell him thank you. If not, subscribe if you're interested in his content. And let me know what you think about me using other people's gameplay. Because as much as I wish that I had these variants, unfortunately I have not been able to unlock them. I've done quite a great deal of grinding, but I still haven't managed to unlock any. But unlike previous episodes where I review a variant without actually being able to use it, this one I have because the SAC royalty is identical to the SAC isolated, which is one of the single variants. They're statistically exactly the same. I take that back. The royalty has one extra magazine, but that's not such a big deal. And the SAC isolated is identical to the MP11 Goliath, and some of the other variants that we'll talk about today are identical to other MP11 variants, such as the MP11 Squeaker, Deceiver, Devourer, all that sort of stuff. So while I haven't used the SAC variants, I have used statistically identical weapons, and I know very well how they perform. But for now, let's focus on the SAC3 royalty / isolated. The damage is 30, 30, and 24. That's three different profiles, so that's 30 up close, 30 at medium range, and decreases down to 24 at long ranges. Again, if we're assuming a more base variant, kind of like the MP11, that's actually quite high. It is always a 4 or 5 shot to kill. If somebody has been slightly injured, even at long range, that'll make it a 5-shot kill. And headshots, any one headshot will guarantee you a 4-shot kill at any range, including the long range. So if they're even a little bit away from you, it's very viable to go for headshots. I wouldn't worry with it up close though, because it won't make much difference. The 4-shot kill range is 13 meters, which is unfortunately a little bit low. I say it's a little bit low. That's the same as the 3-shot kill range on the ASM1, so not so bad, but it's a little bit on the low side for 4 shots to kill. I wish it had a 3-shot kill range, but unfortunately it does not. The royalty / isolated rate of fire is 923 rounds per minute, and I think that's one of the core strengths of this variant, is that it fires very, very fast, and that's a good rounding number, so it won't round down very much. It's going to stay right there at about 900 RPM, and the damage combined with the rate of fire gives it an overall very good time to kill. And this is the part where a lot of people are going to say it's unfair to get this weapon and supply or advanced supply drops when it has such a good time to kill and good performance, but this weapon is also readily available in normal supply drops, so it's not OP or broken, and it's identical to the MP11 Goliath, and there are stronger weapons. So while this is a good strong weapon with a good time to kill, it's accessible to everybody, and there are better weapons, so don't worry about it too much. Fun to use though. It does have a slightly faster reload cancel time than the Akimbo SAC3. The animation time is pretty much identical, but the reload cancel time is slightly faster because the way it works, when you load that magazine in, as soon as you hear the click, if you sprint forward or YY really quick, you'll cancel that reload. And with the Akimbo weapons, you'd have to put both mags in, so it's a little bit slower. This one you just slap one in and you're good to go. So that is an advantage of the single variants, and I'm pretty sure that counts for all of them as well. As for what I think about the SAC3 royalty, I think it's an overall excellent weapon and not to be underestimated. Same kind of thing with the MP11 Goliath. I mean, it's small, it's handheld. Most people think it's going to be a pea shooter, that it's not going to be very effective, that it won't output a lot of damage. And while it's quite far from the highest damage submachine gun, it has a lot of damage considering how fast it shoots, and you can dump truck people with this. You can put a lot of lead down range and really, really wreck people. Very good variant. How I would recommend using it is with the red dot sight, which is built in. You can't take that one out. Advanced rifling, because we're going to extend our 4-shot kill range as much as we possibly can, and foregrip. Since this is 5 shots to kill at long range instead of 6, making it an overall kind of higher damage, better performance at long range SMG. With the foregrip and the red dot sight, you're going to be able to go for more long range kills than you normally would. At ranges where assault rifles are taking 4 shots to kill, or 5 in the case of some assault rifles, you're also going to be taking about 5 shots to kill, so you're going to be on par with them. Where you're not on par though with is the recoil. It's going to kick a little bit more, so I feel like adding the foregrip is going to make this much more competitive with other assault rifles and make it a better weapon. The next variant we're going to talk about today is one of the new elite variants for the SAC3. This is the SAC3 single isolated elite variant, which is identical to the MP11 Squeaker. And just so that you know, I know that the weapons look very similar. We've swapped over to that new variant. The gameplay has changed here. So the SAC3 Introvert is identical to the MP11 Squeaker, which is a weapon that I have quite a lot of experience on because I use it very often. The Introvert's damage is lower than the Isolated or the Royalty at 30, 24, 19. That's 30 up close, 24 medium, and 19 at a distance, which means that it can take between 4 and 6 shots to kill depending on how far away you are, and 6 shots to kill is a little bit frustrating, but it is standard for submachine guns. However, it has the same multiplier, headshot multiplier, but the damages are much closer to those thresholds to taking less shots to kill, so headshots are overall useful at every single range. With this weapon, I would always recommend going for headshots if you want to, if you have the skill, if you feel like it. At pretty much no range is it going to be useless except for point blank, and again, very good. It kicks up, there's a lot of recoil, you'll probably get a lot of head and neck shots on accident anyway. The 4-shot kill range is 13 meters, again, same as the other one. The 5-shot kill range is 22 meters, which is not bad for submachine guns, but it's not great. It's not like amazing. You're not going to be like, wow, the range on this is amazing, it's blowing me away. That's not going to be your feeling with it, but it's got pretty average performance. Both the best and worst thing about this variant is its really insane rate of fire. The Introvert's rate of fire is 1200 RPM. That is the fastest firing submachine gun in Advanced Warfare. If I'm not mistaken, that is the same rate of fire of 2 regular SAC3s. Like 2 regular, each when you do a kimbo, you know, each one shoots at 600. This one shoots as fast as both of those put together. That's bananas. I can't think of it. Even the burst fire on like the AMR9 and some of like the ARX does not shoot this fast. This is insanely fast. And while it may be tempting to do something like put rapid fire on it and move it up to about 15 or 1600 RPM, which is bananas to a point that I can barely even comprehend it, I would highly recommend against it. What happens is when you use rapid fire on this weapon, you hurt the hip fire, you hurt the range a little bit, and it'll kick way too much. It becomes extremely difficult to aim. This weapon does by default have more recoil, not only because it shoots faster, but it actually kicks more than the base variant, so it's very difficult to control. And when you add even more kick and more rate of fire with rapid fire, it's so incredibly hard to use, and I don't recommend it. On top of that, you'll burn through your magazine in a millisecond. Even if you have extended mags, you'll just shred right through it, and it guarantees that you kill maybe one person if they're close to you, but then after that you have to reload. The Introvert's time to kill is very fast, but it's close range only. It's more of a specialty weapon. It's got an amazing, astounding, powerful, deadly time to kill close range. You will annoy the absolute devil out of people with this little bullet hose, but it's pretty useless at medium and long ranges. I like to think of it more of a shotgun and less like a submachine gun, but it does do work, and it, again, highly specialized. Small maps, biolab, something like that, yeah, or urban, you can do work. Big maps, you're going to struggle a lot more with this variant. How I would recommend using it, again, red dot sight, because that's built in. 4 grip for the recoil. Obviously, it kicks like a mule. You want to have your bullets on target, and 4 grip helps with that. I'd also recommend a laser sight, because this is a weapon that you will be hip firing quite a lot with, because it just dumps bullets everywhere. The hip fire is very effective. It's very easy to do. I highly recommend it. Gung Ho, I'm not sold on with too many weapons. This is a weapon where Gung Ho can be viable with just because of how much hip firing you do. Though do keep in mind, Gung Ho will slow down your aim down sights time, which is the topic for a completely different video. But if you want to run Gung Ho with this, even though it's a single variant, definitely viable, definitely makes sense, and can do work. As for the other 2 variants, the SAC 1.5 Solitary is exactly the same as the MP11 Plunderer. This one, if I'm not mistaken, is pretty normal. It has a slightly faster aim down sights time, but more recoil, which I personally don't find to be very valuable or useful. And the the SAC 1.5 Loner is the same as the MP11 Devourer. The Devourer has extra range. I think it's a 15% bonus, kind of like the ASM-1 Magnitude, but it shoots slower. The lower rate of fire helps you deal with the recoil, but really the big thing about the MP11 is its awesome rate of fire, so when you take that away, it's a less spectacular gun. The Devourer is also a marksman weapon, so you can just try that out if you play a lot of MP11. You'll get a good idea for how it feels. Neither of these are really noteworthy or impressive, but they're there, and I thought that you would find it interesting. And I wanted to let you know that none of the single SAC3 variants are bad. Now, the last 2 aren't obviously as good as the first one's, not impressive, but none of them are bad, none of them are terrible, none of them are beyond using, they're not broken. They're all pretty solid weapons, all the way up to quite good, almost top-tier weapons. Unfortunately, there's a big community shitty blowback with them being identical to MP11 variants minus maybe like a magazine size change. A lot of people feel kind of gypped by that, so Michael Condrey and some of the other devs have been tweeting out about rebalancing these weapons soon. I hope that's not the case, because I really wouldn't want to redo this episode, but don't be surprised if in a couple of weeks to a month there is a rebalancing and the SAC 1.5 or single weapons, all their stats are changed. Guys, that's all for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. The previous episode was on the Moore's Doctor, and the next episode I'll be going back to my gameplay again. I'll be talking about the Gung Ho ADS problem. Drifter out.